Hi, this is Alessio. Hope you're well and welcome to this Bitcoin update. In this particular video, we're going to take a look at the chart of Bitcoin and explain what is likely happening or forming here on the chart of Bitcoin and what this pattern we're seeing on the chart likely means. Has Bitcoin topped, as some people think, or do we have more upside? What is the more likely path for Bitcoin? All right, guys, join me. Hey guys, welcome back. So as you can probably guess, I'm not in Iran anymore. I'm back in the UK, currently making this video for you from the south of England and the town of Folkestone by the seaside. Anyway, it's great to be back. By the way, Iran was an amazing time. It was a terrific experience. And guys, if you get a chance to go there at some point in the future, maybe not now, but perhaps in the near future, yeah, definitely I think it's a great place and country to visit and explore. All right, guys, let's get back to the chart of Bitcoin. As you may recall in my previous video, I mentioned that Bitcoin was likely forming one of two patterns. Basically, either a triangular ABCDE pattern like you see here, or an ABC pattern like the one you're seeing here. That was the second pattern I showed. And by the way, in the members video, I mentioned there's a risk of potential lower low to the support levels which we hit near the 60K, 59K region. Here's a clip.
And the C wave, in other words, has still got a bit more downside to go. So if this is the C wave down, I'm looking for one more test, one more decline lower to the region of 59,712, which is again, the 100% extension or symmetrical projection. So this, in other words, if this was the A wave down and the B wave rally here, then the C wave would be the 100% projection of the A wave, which would take us down to approximately this level, this red line, 59,712.
And it does appear, certainly from what's forming here on the chart of Bitcoin so far, that the second pattern, the ABC pattern, is the most likely interpretation and the most likely structure that's forming here on the chart of Bitcoin. Essentially, what I think is going on here is similar with what we've seen in the past, which is that after strong rallies, Bitcoin tends to then form a consolidation pattern. In other words, consolidate and go sideways or put a pullback in. And by the way, remember, this pullback on Bitcoin, this drop, is something we'd anticipated and expected. You may recall, I mentioned this in my videos back in Iran. We kept saying, look, there's a high probability of a pullback or a drop or some kind of reversion back to the mean. Look at the MACD indicator right now as I'm making this video on the chart of Bitcoin, and you'll notice it has come almost to the same levels, or actually above the levels we were at in November 2021, just as Bitcoin was reaching a major turning point, as you can see right there. But I think given how the MACD indicator has now become extremely overbought within the same range as we were back in November 2021, should be a cautionary signal that perhaps we could see some kind of pullback or weakness or correction. And so far, Bitcoin has come back very close to the moving average there. We have to remember that even in uptrends, markets don't always go in one direction. They usually pull back to support or moving averages. In fact, my good friend Charlie Burton often says that markets have a habit of breathing in and breathing out. So we can think of the big rally we saw in Bitcoin, all the way up to the 65K and 73K levels as breathing out or exhalation. And we can think of this pullback or correction as a breathing in. And it does appear to me that after we saw that initial drop, the A wave, we had the B wave bounce, and now we have the C wave decline. But in any case, it is what it is. And to me at the moment, this is nothing more than a simple corrective ABC structure. And that means that I'm still bullish on Bitcoin as long as we stay above key support at 50K. So that really is my view, that as long as Bitcoin stays above key support at 50K, I'm still looking for much higher levels on Bitcoin, above the all-time highs, to the levels that Human mentioned in my previous video. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch it. Now, I realize some of you watching this video probably disagree with me. Now, if you do disagree, then I guess my question to you is, well, what do you think this is? If it's not an ABC correction, okay, if it's not a correction, then what is it? The only other alternative is that Bitcoin has topped and we're starting a bear market. So you have to ask yourself this question. Is that what you believe? Do you really believe that Bitcoin has topped and we're starting a bear market? I don't think so. I think that the odds still favor more upside, and I think this uptrend in Bitcoin is much more likely to continue in the next several months. So I'm still bullish on Bitcoin for the next several months, or at least to the end of summer, and then we'll see what happens. At the moment, there's nothing on the chart that tells me that Bitcoin is topped. Now, if Bitcoin, I mentioned this in my previous video as well, if Bitcoin were to drop impulsively, in other words, in 5 waves, below 50K, then sure, I would change my mind and become bearish. But I think that is a lower probability, so I'm not expecting that. Again, I remain bullish on Bitcoin as long as we stay above 50K, and I'm looking for higher levels to the next key targets. And yes, to new all-time highs on the crypto. Another interesting factor is seasonality of Bitcoin. Seasonality is still bullish on Bitcoin in this period which we're in the middle of spring. That's another factor to bear in mind. So that's really what I have here, guys. I still think it's a corrective pattern on Bitcoin, and I'm still looking for this correction to eventually complete, probably soon. And I think Bitcoin Bitcoin is potentially about to bottom soon in the next few weeks, and we could see higher levels hopefully in the next few months. By the way, make sure you go ahead and watch the members video for more detailed analysis of Bitcoin and also the stock markets and gold. Now, in the members video, I've explained the Elliott wave counts on Bitcoin in great detail, and if you're not a member, you can join in that link you see right there. So from here in Folkestone in England, thank you very much indeed. I look forward to seeing the next video update. Cheers.